crack is from here.
You see, when you separate the two, when you're saying we are scared of cadres and let the police arrest him, the two are the same. President, the UPND has now brought cadreism in the civil service. That's what the challenge is. The challenges we had under the PF, our cadres were in the market and in the bus stations. That's why they were harassing people. And they were not wearing uniform. Okay? They were known as cadres. You could actually say, look, who are you? The difficulty now is that the cadre is in a police uniform. Okay? So you were obeying lawful instructions, believing you are speaking to a law enforcement officer. You were actually being picked by cadres. The ones who came to Portia Inspector were cadres. Okay, you could tell from the lack of professionalism. They had no ethics completely. We were speaking to their boss. They just came and whisked him away, and the cadre mentality. Yeah, and like we always say, this. That's our first assignment when we're in government. Professionalize the civil service, to depoliticize the civil service, and civil servants and officers alike will be employed on merit. If that is the case, you won't have permanent secretaries under the current government making political statements. And the ones who answer making political statements. You won't have senior police officers behaving the way they did. Because what confidence are we giving to our investors? If police officers can come and start chasing people from hotel rooms, that's a private property. What concern do they have? When all those people came to see you, you made sure that you took them for lunch within the hotel building. I mean, the hotel had business that they were getting from the people that were in. But the police came and mechanically removed them from the hotels. What message are we sending to the investors out there? Are we still going to say Zambia is a favored investment destination? Certainly not, and not under the UPND. So, comrade, we're very sorry with what happened, and you have to speak to the country. You have got to speak to the Zambian people. The violence in Kabwe, people are losing their eyes, people are losing their arms. I mean, there's violence everywhere. They can't pretend anymore. The reason why they've been caught up now is that we have told our cadres under Tonse and NRPUP, zero tolerance to violence. Zero tolerance to. So now they're exposed because they tried to provoke us. There's no retaliation. But on their own, if you look at the violence, you go to Mazabuka. There was no Tonse member in Mazabuka. People were hacked in my pangas in Chawama. It's a UPND cadres that were holding pangas. People who were breaking Brighton on those vehicles are UPND cadres. People are beating up people in Kawa, UPND cadres. People who are in Chinsari are UPND cadres. In Mongu, in Chavuma, and everywhere else. So the Zambian people ought to know that UPND has not started today. We had said it time and again that yes, we admitted having cadres within our rank and file in the Patriotic Front, and we went and apologized. The President ECL apologized to the nation and said, "You do things better." We each took turns to apologize to the Zambian people for the cadreism and the harm that the cadreism had caused to this country, and undertook not to entertain any form of cadreism going forward. And this we did between 2021 and 2022, and we have continued to say that. Now, under Tonse, we have said one thing. We have said zero tolerance to cadreism, zero tolerance to violence and violent acts. So, because we have kept our members away, the UPND, who have been a violent party from the time of the Mapatizia formula, were only good at propaganda. They would hack people, brandish guns, and point at the PF. Okay? They would provoke the PF, and in retaliation, they were very quick to get their cameras and say the PF is a violent party. So when President Hakainde Hichilema today is asking the Zambian people whether by voting for the opposition they would want to go back to Panga culture, we only have one question for him. What about the pangas in Mazabuka? Are they not pangas? Are they only pangas when they're held by the opposition? What about the guns in Mazabuka? Are they not guns? Are they not dangerous weapons? the pangas in Chawama, the pangas in Kabwe, the pangas in Chinsali, the pangas we saw in Kasama during the by-election, the pangas we saw in Luwengu during the by-election. What about the pangas we saw in Kawambo and Pambashe during those by-elections? Mr. President, my dear brother, do you mean to say to the Zambian people that it's only a panga when it's held by the opposition, and it's not a panga when it's held by your own members? So the only time and the only way the Zambian people can trust you, my dear brother, is when you start by denouncing and condemning the violence within your own party. Now, Mr. President, you've been exposed. You've been exposed that you've not been sincere when you talk about the fight against cadreism. As a matter of fact, you are tolerating cadreism in your party. Now, as an incoming president, I want to say this to you, that please spare the lives of the Zambian people. We want to bring about peace and tranquility. We want to introduce a culture where Zambians will live as one in peace and in love. So please, the UPND, can you stop the violent acts at once? Zambians will not sit and watch you do these things. Zambians are demanding for peace. Zambians are demanding for a peaceful environment under which they are to campaign. So we are starting with you, the leaders, and particularly President Hakainde Hichilema. Look at President Cosmo Mundubile. He's our chairman for religious affairs. A very peaceful man. He's always conducted his affairs with peace. Why should you come after him? The police should start kicking him. Are they saying they did not recognize Comrade Cosmo Mundubile? They picked him from the hotel. He had paid to be in that hotel. He had paid for his accommodation. He was merely walking around to pick a cup of tea, and he found the police harassing his members. What wrong did Cosmo Mundubile do to ask the police why they were arresting innocent citizens? So we are tired of this sort of actions. Maybe the question to the Zambian people: are you ready? The Zambian people, are you ready to trust a government that will clothe the cadres with police uniforms so they begin to beat up innocent citizens like Cosmo Mundubile? As we speak to you, our innocent members were picked in Chipata on the pretext that they were involved in some aggravated robbery. Now, I should remind the Zambian people, every time the UPND caused chaos and havoc, there's always a claim of someone having lost a 20,000 kwacha and a laptop. That's it happened in Mundubile's case. In 20 other cases, if you follow through, there's always a 20,000 kwacha and the laptop that is lost, conveniently placed at the crime scene. We don't know where that 20,000 and where that laptop comes from. We don't know whether it's the same one, and we would want to know who it belongs to, because it doesn't seem to disappear. It always gets lost around an area where there's violence, and innocent people are being picked. Mr. Inspector General, search your soul. The people you're picking are very innocent. Our security people that you picked, Peter, Ricky, and the other Peter, are all very innocent, you know that. You accuse them of aggravated robbery. They were in my entourage. They were driving vehicles. They were behind wheels, driving through the violent crowds from the UPND. How is it that today someone should come and claim they lost a laptop, they lost some 20,000 kwacha, the same laptop, the same 20,000 that took my sister Mundubile to jail, the same 20,000, the same laptop that took other officers to jail in Kawambo? It's very, very unfortunate. Mr. IG, we urge you to be fair. Can you discharge your duty with diligence? You should be professional in the discharge of your duty. We are really, really tired. We are tired of this sort of situation that is obtaining in our country. Innocent people can't continue going to jail when the people who are breaking Mundubile's vehicle are walking the streets. The people who are plucking other people's eyes are still walking the streets. The people who were stoning us in Chawamba are still walking the streets. It's indeed very unfortunate. So Zambian people, 13th August, you've got to redeem this country. You have a duty. Each and every Zambian should sit and reflect upon the injustices caused by the UPND government. So your only redemption is to go and cast your vote wisely, because you cannot continue with this sort of a situation. Innocent people are being beaten. Innocent people. Chilangwa, Nixon is in prison now. Charged with malicious damage. What about the ones who were damaging vehicles in Brighton Undwe's yard? Wasn't that malicious damage to property? Very, very sad indeed. I'm a very sad man, as it is. It's very annoying.
No, I'll be the helicopter to the